So the prognosis is that you were going to be quadriplegic for the rest of your life, but apparently you had other plans. And tell us how you got over that.
Well, there was 3 surgeries leading to that, and in the 3rd surgery, everything fell apart, and I woke up in ICU, paralyzed from the chest down. And I got the news that everybody that has a spinal cord injury gets, which is it's not going to happen for you. And so my wife stepped up. She saved me from being suicidal. It's hard to commit suicide when you're quadriplegic. I'll tell you that. Holding your breath doesn't work. I'm glad that doesn't work. But when I was awake, it was a nightmare. When I was asleep, I was okay. And so all I wanted was a consistent flow of drugs to keep me asleep. And then, the slow progression of the support from, all sorts of practitioners that are in my family. I come from a long line of healers. They had their hands on me: cranial sacral therapy, massage therapy, reflexology, acupuncture. I go Thursday for acupuncture and reflexology this week. It was an unbelievable effort by a whole bunch of people to support me. Even Brian Kilray stepped in, and the people that I knew from the past to help me get back to Canada, to help me, get back on my feet again. And I try to recognize them in my first book, not the Trauma Code, but in my first book, Thriving in Transition. So I recognize all those people that were there, because if they weren't there, something might have fallen through the cracks. I was on such a borderline, and I still am today. I have no extension strength. 3 limbs are still affected, but I can spin a frisbee on my finger still. I can still do frisbee tricks, but I only have 2 fingers on this hand, and so I have these issues that I deal with, but I've been able to compensate. So that's the situation today.
Is there any one thing that sort of sticks out for you as like that come to moment where you just where the light went on, and something changed, or what was that?
Yeah. My bladder didn't work, so I had complete bladder and bowel shutdown. And so 7 months into it, I had no bladder function, and my wife was catheterizing me 3 times a day. She also had a newborn, a 2-year-old, and she was catheterizing me. And so I was totally dependent, and I had to get, and I was walking. I was limping, but I was walking. One arm worked, and so I had to get my bladder working. I was so desperate, and so the only way I could do it, I figured, was to get off the pain medication. I was on 250 milligrams of morphine a day, 50 milligrams of Halcion to sleep. It's a banned knockout drug now. You can't use it. But I was addicted to morphine after a year on morphine and being in a hospital bed. But the only way I could figure out how to get my bladder working and get physical functionality was by making a mental decision. And I remember the last half pill of morphine. And I stopped. 6 weeks later, my bladder started working, and it's just continued to work. And I'll be 60 next month.